Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to talk to you about my Palantir earnings predictions and if there is a chance that Palantir is going to moon after earnings, or if Palantir is maybe even going to crash after earnings. And I mean, to be honest, there is a chance that any of these two can happen, and it's going to depend on the guidance from management. And there's not a lot that can happen with these earnings that would change that. So the most important thing that will affect the future stock price of Palantir is what management is going to say in the guidance, but I will go more into detail on that. So please make sure that you're subscribed. This is my Palantir earnings prediction. Earnings is in 3 days. So I think that going into these earnings, there is a couple of givens. I think that it's basically given that they're going to have the gap profitability. You can check that off the box. I would bet very, very high amounts of money that we're not going to have a surprise there. They guided for a 16.5% increase in revenue, and this would be the first revenue increase per quarter since I've been following Palantir. I don't know, like what, 8 quarters back or something. It's just been going down and down and down, and last quarter was 13%, and maybe we bucked the trend now. And for me, I'm pretty sure that they're going to at least deliver this number, and I would be surprised if they don't slightly beat on this number. There's a slight chance that they will do a very nice beat, but I wouldn't count on it. My point is, it's a very low chance that they would underperform on the revenue. Now, the stock price going into earnings, we have been going sideways since about May 26th, which I would guess is very, very normal with what happened to Palantir. So you can see that in the beginning of the year, the business got re-evaluated by Wall Street. You know, the AIP, ChatGPT, the AI craze came around, and the stock price went almost double in no time, and since then the market is basically waiting to see. I believe that Palantir is very fairly valued for a slight acceleration of growth. So for example, if they would be growing at around 20%, they would be giving a very nice guidance. This price range of, you know, $15 to $18 is about fair value for this company, and we have been in this range basically since AIP and this AI craze. So that is pretty remarkable, because I wanted to tell you guys that, yeah, we're going into earnings with the stock price falling, and this is such a nice setup. Or, you know, sometimes the stocks like shoot up before earnings, which makes it so that the expectations are sky high. But with Palantir, I feel like the stock price is kind of where it should be, and the expectations are that things will get slightly better than what they were, like revenue, and you know, things will slightly speed up, but they will not go to the moon. So that's what is priced in. Now I want to go over with you what I'm really looking forward to in this earnings, and what I really want to see. So one of them is, I really want to hear them update about AIP and how it's going with the boot camps. We have gotten some interviews, and we understand that the customers, basically what's happening is it's a free service. The customers come there, they get value for their company. It's sort of like their Tesla moment, that they get to test drive Palantir, and then the employees go back to the companies and close the CEOs and the CFOs that they need to get Foundry. Obviously, there is a time in this, so my understanding is that for Palantir to take a full effect in a company, so from the point that you went to an AIP boot camp to the point that you're a very nicely paying customer who is happy, I would think it's still around 1 year in Palantir. And as AIP started about 2 quarters ago, I wouldn't expect that this shows up in the revenue numbers. And this is sort of the problem. Not for us smart investors, but this is what the bears are going to, you know, have as a talking point, that, you know, if there's all this hype about the AIP bootcamp and the AI, where is the revenue growth? You know, and it is coming. As long as we see that the customer numbers are growing very nicely. As long as we see that the AIP bootcamp is successful and they have more and more people doing it, we know that the revenue is going to come. And this is one of those super nice things about Palantir that only the smart investors understand, who actually spend the time to research the company. And those were the guys that were buying up at 6, 8, 10 and dollar cost averaging on the way down. And again, those are going to be the people who potentially win if this ends up being the talking point. So now I want to show you a little bit about their past report that they had. Let me just make my face a little bit smaller. So here you can see in the last report that they grew 16% year over year. This is the first guide that they guided to an increase since I've been following them. So that is very, very exciting. Just a fun fact. This is their first 2 quarters of the year, and they had a 14 million gap profit. And I just played with the numbers. If you make that into yearly number, it would be 28 million. And if you say that their market cap is 30 billion, which I think their market cap is currently more than that, then it's over 1,000 P. So, but when a company just becomes profitable and they're a growth company, it's very usual to have over 1,000 P, and that's not really the metric that you should be looking at. But still, I just wanted to bring that up as a fun thing. So we go down to the financials. So U.S. commercial growth and U.S. revenue, of course, it's going to be interesting to see. I would think that the overall growth number is more important. I used to be someone who was, very focused on that they need to grow in the commercial sector. And then they actually slowed down in the commercial revenue and, they started growing in the government. But with the latest conflicts, I started to understand that Palantir has just as big of an upside as they have in the commercial side. Obviously, somehow it feels like the commercial revenue can grow much faster, and somehow they have a lot of government customers already. So it would be nicer that they accelerate more towards commercial revenue. But I do believe that if they accelerate also in government and the overall growth goes up, I'm the same happy. I'm really curious to see the revenue growth of the average top 20 customers. This I was not happy to see actually in the report, that the top 20 customers was actually gaining significance. So I would like Palantir to diversify away and have, basically when they DPO'd, they were, I think 80% of their revenue was coming from the top 20 customers. Now we're down to almost 50%. I would like to see this number decrease and then getting new customers who are increasing. In this second quarter, what was not so unlucky is that the reason why these guys were accelerating or gaining significance is because they were accelerating faster than the company's growth, which is basically also a confirmation of how good the product is. But yeah, it's not where we want to see the company grow. This is another thing that I really want to see, the customer count of the company significantly growing. I don't know what a good number would be, probably 465. If we would reach 500, that would be a huge jump from 337. So this is a number that I'm looking for very much. And here's where we come to the most important point about this earnings. So what is going to determine the future of Palantir stock price is how management is going to guide about the future. Because if their AIP is going fantastic and they see that they have a lot of business coming online, then they should guide for a higher revenue. They should sound very confident about the future, and they should make very nice commentary about it. And I believe that that can set the stock up for a nice rally, maybe up to $20, maybe even over $20, depending on what they say. If they could guide for a 30% growth again, I believe the fair price for Palantir would be around $24, $25. Now, my fear is that the guidance is going to be done in a sort of Alex Karpish way, where he's just going to say that we're doing very good, we're taking the whole market, our product is the best, and he doesn't really give specifics. This would still be good for the stock price, but it kind of leaves it up to your fantasy of how good they are doing, and we understand that it's coming. The growth is coming, we just don't know how much growth is coming. Now, if they sound in any way pessimistic, or they mention that there is trouble with customers, or Europe is slow and they are starting to see that the US is also slowing down, I think that the stock could crumble to $11, $10 or something like that. I don't think that is going to happen based on all the feedback that we're getting from customers, based on the pictures that we see on AIP comms, code straps, tweets. I just cannot see that this business thing is not working out for them. The only question for me is, are we going back to 20% growth, or are we going back over to 30+% growth? If we would get an answer on this, it would be fantastic. I doubt that we will get an answer. So overall, my main prediction is that we will walk out satisfied as Palantir shareholders, not wanting to sell our shares, and maybe the stock will climb a little bit higher. Although the recent trend in this earnings season has been that the companies deliver blockbuster earnings and then the stock still plummets. But I believe that was because of macro, and that overselling should be done by the time Palantir reports. So I'm not so scared of that. So anyways, this is my Palantir earnings prediction. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will try to live stream it with someone, maybe on Arnie's channel, maybe with Matt Money. It's not decided yet. I will let you guys know. And yeah, it's in 3 days. It's getting very excited. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.